This episode of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live is brought to you in part by Viewfinder's Identity Search and Design. Your choice for web design, graphic design, and all multimedia development needs. Visit VFISAD.com and let us bring your vision to reality.
This is Charlotte Chung.
And Fred Tatasciore.
And you're listening to
A.C.M.G. Presents
Talk Time Live.
Welcome to the show to give you all the news, views, and opinions in the world of gaming. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live Extras. So let's start with your host, Xavier Josiah. Power up and game on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live Extra Select Start. I am your host, Xavier Josiah. Folks, we got a ton of news to talk about this week in the world of gaming, including my review, my final stage review of Astral Chain, the game, one of the games I've been waiting to play for quite some time, and I finally got to play it, played the hell out of it, dominated it, and we're going to talk about all of that today on our final stage review. But we got so much news because, once again, Nintendo has dropped a huge bomb on us called Nintendo Direct, and we're going to talk about everything that they discussed in the 40-minute video presentation. So, there's nothing I can say right now other than let's get down to it. Again, you know what's funny? I was actually going to not use the Overwatch panel drop that I got from Keystone Comic-Con, but there's a reason why I needed to do it again, and that is because the first thing that was announced at Nintendo Direct last night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, was the already leaked announcement, but it's now coming to fruition, of Overwatch coming to the Nintendo Switch with new ways to play the game, and this version is coming very soon. It's yet to be announced as when it's coming out, but it is coming. It actually looks pretty damn good on that Nintendo Switch, and as a now fan of this game, and how involved I've become of this game and amongst other things, I can't help but to be able to invest in this, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to be able to play this on handheld mode. Do you understand how cool that is? I'm not really the best FPS guy in the world, but I gotta tell you, the idea of playing an FPS game on the Nintendo Switch and just being able to carry it around, it gives a different perspective of gameplay when doing it that way. For some reason, seeing it on a big screen to me, it's weird. It's weird for me, and I don't like really the first person view. Like, if you guys have been at the panel, me and Fred Tatasciore, basically the voice of Soldier 76, we love the game, but if you had to pick and choose what type of game, we like games that you could see the characters in a third person type of view, whereas you don't see the characters. And when you have something like Overwatch, which is beautifully done, and you got all these really cool characters, you kind of want to see your character move around and such like that. But again, that doesn't take away from the quality and the accolades that Overwatch has had throughout the last few years, and including over 100 Game of the Year awards. That's huge. That is absolutely freaking huge. So they have announced it will be on a Nintendo Switch. The other interesting factor here is whether they're going to have competitions using the Nintendo Switch, or is it going to be cross-play doing it? Because that'll be interesting to see how people are going to play this game on the Nintendo Switch, competing with people on Xbox and the PlayStation 4. I'm hinting to believe that they will have some form of crossplay, and that'll be interesting to see how, whether, and I doubt that, E-League teams will actually play on a Nintendo Switch, but it'd be very interesting to see, who can master that and who can get, into that whole entire thing. So it's official. They will be playing on the Nintendo Switch, and, those who are Switch fans now can see why this game is so well received. And even I could become a fan of it. And like I said, last really game I kind of enjoyed that was a first-person shooter was like Unreal Tournament. That's how far back on a PC. That's how far back I've I haven't really played, PC games. And a lot of it has to do with probably not the fact that I just not a fan of the first person view perspective, but also I hate when I can't see. I can't get through blind spots. And I would probably need somebody to absolutely train me how to maneuver and, detect blind spots, because somebody can get me right in the back of the head a lot of times and whatnot. And it's just like, I can't, it's just hard for me to get through. So, but it's coming. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a full advocate now of it, so I'm ready for it. The other thing that they mentioned amongst a long list of games that they mentioned on this was Luigi's Mansion again. This time they mentioned new stages such as Tomb Suites, Spectral Cache, and Dance Hall, among other things. There's also a new mode called Scream Park that allows 2 to 8 players multiplayer to play. So it's coming on August 31st, so get ready for that. And it looks good. It looks really good. I actually played the original game as well, and I thought it was pretty fun. I never did finish it, but I really did enjoy it. So I'm looking quite forward to it. Whether I'm going to get it day of, that's a whole nother thing. Because, like I said, I didn't beat the original one, but it was really fun to play. And it's probably because I got stuck on some things so much, and I had to keep it moving. So that was one thing. The other game that I mentioned, which is actually out and available and free right now, and that is Super Kirby's Clash, which basically is a Super Smash Brothers clone starring Kirby, pretty much. But the cool part is it is free. They have a free version. I don't know if this means this is a lead to them doing a full version, which you're going to have to pay for. I don't know what this entails. They never really explained it. They just said, we have a free version of it. Go check it out. I actually did download it, but I have not got a chance to play it yet. So I will transfer that to next week's show and give a little bit more thought process on that one. A game that will be out in 2020 that I'm actually quite interested in when seeing it is Trials of Mana HD remake. So this is a remake from the original 2D game, which was kind of like, I believe if I'm correct, it was like a 2D, over the top Zelda type of game, but now it's totally remade into in-depth 3D mode, and now it's an action role-playing game, which allows a lot more features than ever before from the game. So they remade the game. It's coming out April 24th, 2020. I'm not a big fan of turn-based games, but not too many of them. There's some rare games that I do play, but I don't generally do JRPGs or turn-based RPGs for that matter. But I love doing some action RPG games, and Trial of Mana looks like maybe the game I will be investing in 2020. So again, April 24th, 2020 is coming in. Return of OVERWATCH, which is like a crazy mystery. It's like a period piece mystery, pretty much. I'm thinking the 1800s, it looks like. But the crazy artistic part of this consists of the game looking like a very well graphically detailed Game Boy game. So it has it literally looks like a Game Boy game. If you guys owned the original Game Boy, it was like a greenish type of tint screen with just black pixels and stuff like that. So the pixel rate of this thing is out of this world, because it looks like it looks like an actual, a PlayStation game or a PlayStation 2 game or PlayStation 3 game in the filter format of a Game Boy game. So think of it like that, but you have to solve a bunch of mysteries to what's going on in this ship or whatever like that, and it looks very interesting. This is like one of those artistic, style games that it's really, there's an appeal to it. There's a significant artistic appeal to it from that point. So that will be out soon. Little Town Hero, and if you heard about this game, this is Game Freak's brand new IP, which actually plays like Pokemon. So I was hoping, when I found out about this and read about this, I believe I read about this on Game Informer. When I found out about this game, I was hoping that Game Freak would just totally make an entirely new game. Maybe if you're going to stick with RPG, to make it a action RPG. But as you look at the video presentation of this, it just looks like the same thing with a different story and different characters. Now, granted, with that said, the animation and the character design of the game looks phenomenal. It looks absolutely phenomenal. So that to me is a lore alone. But they didn't show too much of the game for me to say, all right, I'm interested and I'm jumping in. Aside from the fact that it looks beautiful. I want to see a little bit more into why I want to invest in this game like I would Pokemon game, which, by the way, Pokemon is just one of the rare RPG turn-based games I will play. I don't know why I'm so geared with that game. It's the lore of that, the way that they put that together is just, it's quite amazing. I'm into that, not any other one. But, and it probably is because they make it really fun to play, too. That could be another thing, too. So that's the whole thing. Then, to my heart and many other fighting game fans' heart, we got another Super Smash Brothers announcement. They talked about doing a Banjo-Kazooie separate video, which came on right after this presentation. So, in fact, you got like a whole hour's worth of, Nintendo Direct, to be honest, because like the other video, which we'll be talking about as well briefly, or a little bit, is that it's like, that was like, what, 25 minutes, 13 seconds of that video footage talking about Banjo-Kazooie and what he can do and such. And then they also had other announcements. So we'll talk about that after this. But the biggest news and the second leaked information that came about, we already knew that this was happening. It was already rumored that this was going to happen, but we didn't know who it was. It was announced and leaked that an SNK character, and when we say SNK character, we just know it's going to be a fighting game character. So that's, out of all the SNK games, the fighting games is what led them to glory. Aside from the fact that they charged you $200 per game and $700 for the damn console. Still the most ridiculous thing ever made. But they apparently did this absolutely one of my favorite Super Smash Brother reveal announcements ever. They did this fantastic tease using, all right, it looks like SNK worked along with them doing a remake of intros from some of SNK favorite fighting games, like, King of Fighters. If you play King of Fighters before, it always starts with the envelope that Rugal always provides. So, and you always see Kyo's hand, about to catch it and flame it on fire. This time, he did not catch it, and his hand was like, and at all, that he was not able to catch this, this actual envelope. So then it transfers over to, I believe, Andy and Joe from Fatal Fury. They didn't catch it. Then Geese Howard, he tried to catch it, could not catch the envelope. Then it transitioned over to the world of Samurai Showdown, where Nakaruru missed it. Hamaru, I believe, missed it. And then lo and behold, Ryo from Art of Fighting also tried to catch it too. Could not catch it. So, lo and behold, it goes to the ground, and the one person that got the invitation and is coming to the world of Smash Brothers on November of this year is none other than the lone wolf himself, Terry Bogard. I would have loved everybody else, but to be honest, Terry Bogard is their icon. That is just it. You couldn't have picked any other person. Now, I think if they did pick Kyo or any of the other cast, I think people would have been in an uproar as to why you didn't pick Terry Bogard, because Terry Bogard is their Ryu. He's always been their Ryu. He's always been their most fan favorite character in the game. In any of the games, whether it was Fatal Fury, it was King of Fighters, regardless. He's been a fan favorite, and amongst all of them, that's the person that you wanted to do a crossover with, whether it was from Ryo from Art of Fighting or Ryu from Street Fighter, which eventually did happen. Now we get to see him among the Hall of Fame, which, truth be told, and I've discussed this many times before with, game developers who's been on this show, that, and voice actors as well. I believe Ruben Langdon and Kyle Hebert, I actually spoke about this because both their characters are in Super Smash Brothers. But to be in Super Smash Brothers now is like being in a gaming Hall of Fame, because every single character from every single, gaming company is getting in this game. So to add Terry Bogard is highly respectful to do that. Like, this guy, the character has gone out of his way to be in anime movies. They did a crappy live action version of it, which we will not speak about. And if I talk about it anymore, I will get majorly upset of how they handled that. that movie, I tell you. But nonetheless, this is awesome. I'm looking forward. I think I've been debating whether I was going to invest in a Fighters pack. And there's a lot of Persona fans out there. There's Banjo-Kazooie fans out there. This one caters to me. So if I get any of them, I'm getting Terry Bogard. And he will be available coming November 19th. So remember, that's coming there. He's in development right now. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him as the time goes by. And that's really exciting. And not only that, we still got one more left in the Fighters pack. So that could be anybody at this point. But major news was announced after the fact that more characters are in development after the first Fighters pack. So we're getting the second season. They're working on like 5 more characters here. And again, that just brings up more excitement here. I'm all for this. I'm ready for this. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really hoping that they go out of the box completely, not even just go into the video game front, but go out of the box and go anime. Go get Goku or Naruto or something like that. I'm very interested in seeing what they're going to do and how far out of the box they're going to go with this, or what game are they going to pick this time. What other icons can be in this game? And we got now 6 mystery characters that will be coming in. Who do you want to be in this game? That's what I want to know. So that'll be interesting there. They move on to talk about Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, the remake. There will be an amiibo coming out in the during the release as well. They showed a lot of different features and a lot of new tricks that you'll be able to do in the game. Coming this month, September 20th. This may be a first day buy for me. This absolutely may be a first day buy for me because I've played a Link's Awakening in so many different versions of that game. How do I not get this? How do I not get this? It's just quite amazing. So it looks beautiful. I'm looking forward to it. They also mentioned Dragon Quest X. Dragon Quest 6S Echoes of the Elusive Age Definitive Edition, and as well as Tokyo Mirage Session FE Encore. Tokyo Mirage Session FE, which basically is Fire Emblem, is a turn-based RPG game based using the characters from Fire Emblem in here. It looks beautiful. The story actually looks kind of fun to play. So it's something I could down the line maybe want to poke at and invest in, even though it's turn-based. The actual look and feel of it it looks intriguing to me. So that's coming out January 17th, 2020, right around my birthday. So that could be a thing, depending if something else comes out as well. It's a funny thing. I forgot what came out last year on my birthday, but February, I think, is when Jump Force came out, and I was so disappointed in that, but that's a whole nother story from there. That's a story for the most disappointing games of the year down this December, so get ready for that one. So moving on, we also have Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, and Deadly Premonition Origins. So that is I know one of our A.C.M.G. members is aware of that game. I've never actually heard of the original, let alone the sequel of that. So that's coming out soon as well. Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition. Then a huge announcement that Doom 64 is coming in. If I'm correct, this may be the first or second Nintendo 64 game to be ported onto the Nintendo Switch. We need to see more of this. I would love to play. There's some Nintendo 64 games I would absolutely love to play. And what the cool part about Doom 64 is that it looks extremely polished and remastered. It still looks 64-bit, but it looks very clean. It's been optimized for a 16:9 ratio to fit the screen. And it looks really, really cool. It still looks like as fun as it was back then for people who enjoyed that game. Rogue Company, which is like an online multiplayer, shooter, much like Overwatch, is coming in 2020. Pokemon Sword and Shield, we got to see a little bit more here that they revealed, including customizations mostly, which they have even more selections of clothing this time around, and I'm really hoping this time. And I thought they did a great job with Sun and Moon last time, and the customization and Eevee and Pikachu was, it was. I'm hoping that they really work on representation just a little bit more, because one thing that did always pisses me off when they do customizations for characters in certain games is that, especially games like that, is that they will have now. They gotten the pigmentation right, the color, the hue of brown and black right, but it's just not enough when you have hairstyles that are like of other ethnicities and other ethnic identities. So there's not that many people of color that has their hair straightened. Like Andre 3000, Snoop Dogg at the time, you got a few people from Atlanta that are actually, do the hair straighten thing. That's not everybody. So we can't get away with that. We want to see something a little bit more realistic, and relatable per se. And I don't mean cornrows, because that's always the go-to thing. You don't have to have cornrows or an afro. Just give something a little, like, I give credit. WWE 2K always represents really well when it comes to the creative suites, the selections of hairstyles and such. I really enjoy what they have, because they're catering to the reality of things. They want you to make real characters, or fictitious characters as well. But even still, there's some representational items in there that respectfully matches what people will be wearing and looking like today. So I would like to see hopefully more of that, more hairstyle selections that are relatable to certain cultures that go in there. So, I mean, that's pretty much on that. But otherwise, the game's always fun. I'm looking forward to it. Coming November 15th. Of course, that will be one of the ones I get possibly first day and review that as well. So I'm looking forward to that. They move on to talk about further, and that is Nintendo Switch Online, which I do enjoy it, but even funnier now because I have a Raspberry, a retro Pi that has virtually every single one of these games on here. But the Nintendo Switch Online is now presenting Super Nintendo games, which I believe at this time it should be there, or it's right now, as we're recording this, is 11:30 a.m. Within a half hour, it'll probably be released along with some other games that are coming out, one of which I will be reviewing next week, and I'll mention that at the end of the show. And so that is really cool. I didn't list the games that they were going to be presenting, but it's about a dozen games for the Super Nintendo that will be premiering very soon on here. So stay tuned for that if you are looking to play Super Nintendo games. Not only that, but they also presented a new Super Nintendo wireless controller, which is awesome. Just for collector's purposes, I would want to buy that. And in fact, it is wireless, and you could be able to play it too. And I'm all for that. I wonder if you can play that with the Retro Pi. That probably not, because you probably need to upgrade for that, but an update on the firmware for that or stuff like that. So, but I'm looking forward to it. It's pretty awesome. Tetris 99 Viticus. Tetris 99 is going to be adding on. I think Viticus is a new name. My notes is kind of screwed, but Tetris 99 is going to be adding on some new stages, new downloads for both the online version and the offline version that you get to buy as well. So I believe that should be available right now, if not soon, as well from there. A game that I'm actually really, really looking forward to, more than I did before when I brought this game, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. I think they're going to go all out for this game. This game, the cool part about this game is that if you've seen it, it allows 2D 16-bit mode, throughout certain parts of the game, or all the games that you can transition it to, and a ton of different modes. It also has a new storyline that takes you back to the last time Tokyo had the Olympics as well. So you got that. There are a ton of modes, including martial arts, boxing, surfing. I mean, just way more than it ever has before. And that was one of the things I wish that the other game had. I did beat and play the other game. It was a pretty fun, and the story was pretty cool. I think they're going to absolutely do way more than they did before, because it's the Switch, and they can do a lot more to add on to things. So I am looking forward very much to this. And the 2020 Olympic Games is looking to be really exciting this year, especially when the theme of the entire Olympics is going to be anime based. So if you didn't know that, you know that now. They're going to be the icons, the actual mascots for the Olympics this year is Sailor Moon, Goku, Naruto, I believe possibly Ken from Fist of the North Star. I'm not sure, but I know those three are particularly the three, and plus maybe two more or something like that, are going to be the mascots this year for the Olympics because it's in Tokyo and they're celebrating in a big way. And with anime becoming very mainstream right now, in both a good and a bad way, this is the time. This is the time to do it. I feel so bad for Kira Toriyama right now, but that's a whole nother discussion. But Damon Machina, which actually is going to be presenting another demo coming soon, a prologue demo, which is going to introduce the beginning of the game. Not only that, the game will allow you to save data when you buy the actual game. This is one of the games I was talking about when it comes to representation. Last time I played their last demo, I was with it. I was really excited about this game because it had a game like a Zone of Ender type of vibe to it. But upon playing it, as beautiful as it looks, the one thing that pissed me off was the lack of representation of they had the pigmentation of the character, but the hairstyle, they didn't have enough representations of hair. And I did a survey feedback from them. I'm hoping other people also chimed in, especially people of color chimed in to say, I want to see more representational items to make my character look representative of my, of me, to some extent, to as best you can. And hopefully they have done that this time around. Because if I don't see that this time around, I may not invest in this game. This to me was like, that pisses me off. That pisses me off to no end right there. So that's one thing. Star Wars Jedi Knights 2, Jedi Outcast will be ported to the Nintendo Switch. Fans of that game will get a chance to play it on the Switch on the go, in handheld mode and on TV mode as well. So get ready. That will be coming out soon. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition, which comes with all of the DLC involved for one great low price of maybe $59.99, I believe. It is out on the eShop right now. I believe you can pre-order right now, so that'll be out. Assassin's Creed The Rebel Collection will be out as soon. So I think it's 2 games in one for that one, for one great low price. A game called Dauntless is coming. Montage of upcoming games is coming as well. Call of I can't even pronounce his name, Chulu, I believe, or Chuhu. Vampire, spelled with a Y. Animal Crossing was a big presentation that they showed, and that will be coming, I believe, March of 2020. I didn't write that down, but they're working hard on that game because it was supposed to come out this year. There were some hiccups with it, unfortunately, which is a rare for Nintendo or anything Nintendo based for them to have a hiccup in that. So this is one of those situations I give a pass because unlike some, companies like Square Enix and stuff like that have been working on games for so long and constantly have been dragging their feet with it, Nintendo, when they come out with a game, it usually comes out when they say it's coming out. And I can say to this, for them to take this long to do it, is, Animal Crossing fans, don't fret. I think they're going to do a hell of a job. You're going to have a great time with this game. I really do. I've never played Animal Crossing. I've just seen the religious fandom of this game from other people. And I mean, really, really, people have cried when the announcement of this game was delayed. Legit. This is absolute legit. I was like, wow. These cute little animals really get near dear to people's heart. So it will be out in 2020, believe March, I believe is coming out. So stay tuned for that. The last game that they revealed was Xenoblade Chronicles, the definitive edition. I guess this means that they're giving up every DLC and everything that they had for one low price. I still don't know if this game is an action RPG or RPG or whatever the hell this game is. It looks great. Maybe, depending on the price, I'll maybe jump on it or something like that. Or if I see the actual gameplay, I have Craig Holland, who actually was so on to this game or into this game. He loves it, but he loves everything, and he got to understand, I am an action role-playing game. So if it's action role-play based, I'm jumping on it. I am absolutely jumping on it. So, stay tuned for that. So we have this 40-minute big presentation. A lot of games that we already knew about, but we got to see a lot of details. So there wasn't too much excitement about what was coming because some of it was already leaked. But with that said, sometimes things that are leaked isn't always true. And the fact that Overwatch is coming, the fact that we got Terry Bogard coming as well, some more Link's Awakening news, Doom 64, some Sword and Shield information. I mean, there's tons of new information and tons of new games. Trial of Mana. For me, I was really excited, not above and beyond excited because, again, a lot of things were leaked. But overall, I thought this was a really great presentation, a really huge chunk of presentation that they gave. And I'm looking forward to it. I love it. If I would give this a grade of a presentation this time around, I would say B+. I would say B+. I wasn't shocked or blown away by a lot of the news that I've gotten from this, but there's some more news coming soon. I know Samurai Showdown and all this stuff is coming for the Switch as well. And amongst other games will be coming for the Switch as well. So stay tuned for all that. And the stuff that they announced on that's on the game here, on the presentation here, still doesn't amount to the amount of games that you see previewing or coming soon on the eShop. So they haven't even mentioned those games that are coming to the eShop. So stay tuned for that and much more. We do also afterwards had this watch the Banjo and Kazooie showcase, which they gave you a bit of a rundown of what he can do as well in the game, which I believe he's available right now on the eShop and the Fighters pack right now. So you can get them right now and download them right now. But some other surprises coming to Smash Brothers. The final new mode that will be coming in, and it is the return of Home Run Contest, which now can have 2 players in there, which you're supposed to work together with the actual second player, but during the presentation you can also battle the character we discovered as well in here. But the idea is now the length that you can hit the actual beanbag to is about as far as from one city of Japan to another. You can also hit it so high that it goes into space and land. So you have that. But adding 2 players will allow the advantage to be able to send it that far. And that was the whole point of that. They also announced that there will be more Ultimate Mii Fighter costumes, such as from different games that we've actually played, such as Ninja Mystical Gaiman, Mega Man. You can play. There's a Zero costume that you'll be able to get. Mega Man X, which is another Zero costume. I don't know if that's all the costumes that you'll be able to get, but they just displayed Zero on there. Pokemon, which you could play as, you could wear Team Rocket gear, and Undertale, which has also been high in demand as well. So all of those costumes are available right now, so you can get that as well. And that is pretty much it with that. So I mean, overall, I thought it was a B+ presentation and a lot of great announcements and everything. It didn't blow me away to make it an A grade type of thing. I've been blown away many times before by other ones and surprised by other ones. I think if it wasn't leaked out, I probably would be more excited, but that's the whole thing. But they gave us a whole bunch of things to look out for. The Overwatch thing is huge. The Overwatch thing is huge, and it's going to change the way gameplay is happening. If they have crossplay, it's going to be a big deal too. Also, Witcher 3 is also a big deal too, because it's just one of those games, like the game I'm about to review, that proves that how powerful the Nintendo Switch is and how much they can handle within their system, regardless. So I'm looking forward to a lot of these games as well. So that will do it for this portion of Select Start. We're going to take a break, come back, and in our final stage review, we're going to talk about Astral Chains, and is this the game I've been waiting for, and is the anticipation worth it? We'll find out right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dak Xavier Josiah, the host of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live, the podcast. You want to catch up with all of our podcast shows and hear from some of the hottest names in all of anime, comics, movies, and games, such as...
This is Miley Flanagan, the voice of Naruto. This is Stephanie Shea, the voice of Sailor Moon.
This is Ruben Langdon, voice of Ken Masters and Dante from Devil May Cry.
Hey there, this is Kyle Hebert, the voice of Ryu from Street Fighter V.
This is Chris Battle, character designer of Teen Titans Go.
Here's your chance to check out all of that and more on TalkTimeLive.com. TalkTimeLive.com provides all of our ACMG content with new and previous episodes, exclusive interviews, articles, and much more. Visit TalkTimeLive.com and let us help you learn to let go, live life, and love all things ACMG.
Talk Time Live.
All right, folks, we are back with our final stage review, and it is my review of what I consider one of the most anticipated games I've been waiting for, and that is Astral Chains by Platinum Games. This game, first of all, let me just tell you how much of a fan I am of Platinum Games. Not just since Devil May Cry, you know, there's some of the creators of Devil May Cry worked on it, is a part of this company, but also the fact that they've created some really outrageously out of this world, take no names type of games. Bayonetta 1 and 2 and 3 on its way is just outstanding. They made one of my all-time favorite cartoons into a video game. Probably, in my opinion, the best version of Transformers I've ever played. And that's not taken away from Age of, what is it, Age of Cybertron or War of Cybertron, which came out, and they came out with, which was like a Gears of War type of game, which was still great in its own way. But this, when they made Transformers Devastation, that was the game for me. That was my version. And not only that, they brought back Peter Cullen, Frank Weller, and like majority of the cast that was still around, from the 80s cartoon, voiced the game. I swear to goodness, Platinum Games, if anybody works there that is hearing this right now, please bring that game to the Nintendo Switch. There are still hardcore G1 Transformers fans out there that would love to play that. But they also came out with other really great games as well for this game. I believe Nier, if I'm pronouncing that right, was also one of the games they came out with. They've made some really great titles along the way. Legend of Korra was done by them as well, and I actually liked that game. It wasn't one of their best games, but I liked that game. But here, with Astral Chains, this was a strict exclusive Nintendo game made by them for a Nintendo Switch, and it really showed how really great it is to be a Nintendo Switch fan and how powerful this handheld console really is. And what you were rewarded with was a absolutely visually stunning game that gave you everything you ever wanted in an action game. Stunning anime visuals, vibrant colors. I mean, just everything. Action game controls, everything. We're going to talk about all that right now. Let's start with the story here, because this latest action adventure game title that they came out with allows you to customize your character to take on hordes of monsters known as chimeras. As a member of a police force known as Neuron, as you're fighting to, save the world from extinction, pretty much. You play as one half of a twin unit with special abilities to control a virtual spirit known as legions. Some will say familiar, whatever. The anime fans may recognize this type of thing as this type of being as a stand. And I'm talking about the stand that you would see on anime like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So, if you've ever watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure before, the characters have these ability to, release or summon these spiritual beings called stands, which only they can see, or people who with the ability to see stands can see. They kind of went that route with this game as well, where the legions are the spiritual virtual beings that only people who can summon them themselves can also see as well. And these legions give you different abilities to do a whole bunch of different things in here. While you set up to rid the world of the major threat, your character and twin siblings discover secrets to their past, which changes the direction of the development of the characters and other characters involved within the story. As the main character, you will have possession of your legions, which gives you special combat abilities as well. You will also be able to control both your character and legions during battle for a new and dynamic form of gameplay that Platinum Games has never really done before, and this is very interesting. Like the ability to be able to control two different characters in a heated battle of many different hordes of monsters. That really steps it up, and they managed to do it and balance it out really well here. The controls, which we're going to talk about, and the gameplay takes only a minute to really figure out, as with the help of a training room that allows you to master great new moves and techniques in no time. You will, and all throughout the game, you know, when you finish a mission, you go back to headquarters, you go into the training room and start practicing on certain move sets that you have learned and developed through upgrading and advancing. So you got that. You will also have the ability to control various legions, including a sword legion for fast-paced attacks, an arrow legion for long-range attacks, shooting arrows from afar or whatever like that. Arm legion, which causes great damage in, hand-to-hand combat, pretty much. K9, which is one of my favorite legions, for attacking and sniffing out items and clues, and as well as chimeras that hide in plain sight. They also have Axe, which is probably the last one that you get, no spoilers, which breaks into new areas. So you have all of those, legions to work with eventually. And how you get them, I can't explain because that will reveal some of the story. I'll let you reveal that because it's worth checking out the story as well. Your character is also equipped with a weapon that transforms into three weapon forms, including an energy-based baton. It's a baton, but it generates energy surge that pretty much becomes almost like a sword, a saber sword, if you will. Then it transforms into a really cool gun, and then it transforms into a really huge broadsword. The fact that you get to see the animation of the transformation is really awesome to see. So, I mean, there's so much detail in this particular game, and I know they've done some really great games before, like I said, with Bayonetta and Transformers and all those other games, but there's such an attention to detail in this game unlike you've seen in any of the other games before. This game right here may have upped the ante of what Platinum Games can do for action role-playing games like this. So there's a lot of awesome things throughout this entire game. Your character also is also equipped with a weapon. Oh, well, I've already did that. Nope. You will also have the opportunity to upgrade both your weapon and the legions when earning enough points and material to strengthen and make you a more powerful warrior in battle. And if you play like games like Spider-Man and Batman, they had, it's that type of, RPG element right there where you can just start leveling up your characters, which then opens up to new techniques and everything. You get with your legions, as you upgrade them, you'll also be able to learn new and exciting moves in battle as well, which again, once you learn those moves, you go into the training room to, pretty much learn how to make these moves really work in effect. And I've seen actual video streams of people playing really well with them and getting like S+ ranks, playing the games and everything. So it's worth checking out because there's some really great, cool techniques that you can learn from this game. Having legions on your side, pretty much with a great, there are hordes of chimeras all around. And that's the way they want it, because your legion, the idea is for your legion to be able to back you up and shield you and help you and support you and to gain the advantage of the whole entire thing. So the way that they created the control scheme for that, you would think is a little bit complex, but it's really not. It's really user-friendly, it's really easy to learn, and a lot of fun to play from there. The presentation of this game is one of the most beautiful games on the Nintendo Switch right now, bar none. Just absolutely. You look at this game, and then you look at, what was the other game that I played? Bloodstain. Bloodstain should have looked like this game. I know that they were talking about doing an upgrade for Bloodstain. I haven't checked in a while and see if there was an update for Bloodstain, but the visuals in Bloodstain in comparison to what it looks like on the Nintendo, on the Xbox and the PlayStation 4, there's no reason why it should look like that. When other games like Astral Chains and other games that I've played right after that look absolutely groundbreaking and stunning for a handheld game. It looks very grainy and muddy in comparison. But Astral Chain looks phenomenal here. I mean, like, absolutely. One of the things that I've most appreciated in this game is the features that allow you to have the ability to create your character that represents different ethnicities appropriately. And I gotta say, and we talked about this all through this episode, this game here, I really appreciated this game because they didn't have as much as far as hair types for it, but the one hair type that they had was enough to appreciate because it was just like a low cut, you know, like what we call like kind of like a hustler cut. It's just low cut with a good lineup on there. So if you got a character and you want him to be a person of color, you use that one. It looks really good. It looks really good. When you look at the character, it's an anime character, but he does look like he is African American or a person of color, for that matter. And also, when you change the pigmentation color and hue of your character, your twin also carries that as well. Because for some reason, and I wish they would allow this, and I tried to play the game to see if you could, but you can't. You can't change the look of your character. So if I'm playing the male and your twin is a female, which that's usually the case, or vice versa, you can't change the other one. So I opened another file as the female character and made a really cool female character of color. But I couldn't change the color. I couldn't change anything else about the male version, which the male version in the beginning has long, straight hair. So I think if that's one of the things that I would love for them to update and fix, because it's like, okay, if you're making a person of color, whether they're maybe Indian descent or they're, like I said, from Atlanta, who some of them already have straight hair, I ain't mad at that. But, you know, if I wanted to change the look of the other person, like, why can't I? You know, just for the effect and just the feel of it. So that's just one of the little negatives that I probably have of it. But otherwise, the ability to create your main character as an appropriate representation, I thought was actually really, it added on to my gameplay, experience, if you will. I was also loving the fact that we got more anime characters nowadays or anime shows that are really celebrating and representing different ethnicities appropriately. We got Cannon Busters out there, which of course it was created based on a person of color as well. But you also had like Afro Samurai out there, and you got other new anime out there that are now starting to do it. This embrace of Japan is well appreciated, because we are anime fans ourselves, and we like to see us in these type of things too. And I think they're starting to, they are always getting on the ball of things as well. So I absolutely appreciate that very much. I really admired and enjoyed what they've done creatively with this game, just entirely. The other great feature that I absolutely like is the Iris mode, which is basically the detective mode from Batman, the Arkham series, and to find and detect clues and people that you are searching, because during the plot points of the game, you will have side missions or certain parts of the game where you have to, pretty much be a detective, and you also have to use the Iris computer to search for different people, and it'll scan out different civilians that are in the area, right, birth date, and that's a lot. Think about the attention to detail that went into that. So every character that's any non-main character that's in the game, and you're walking through the streets and there's a ton of different people in the street, and you turn on the Iris mode, they have a birthday, a blood type, and whatever for each character in that game. There's not enough attention to detail that is being focused on when games like this do that. I love that. I think because we're so used to it now and we've been spoiled by it, we don't appreciate that type of level of detail, and I really appreciate them doing stuff like that. The game's landscape as well, although very dark and dreary, it does show hints of vibrant and saturated colors within the game, and as well as the characters in the game and the costumes that stands out as is needed to, because you got all this dark and dreary apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic type of world, but your characters and your characters' colors and everything, the blues and the eyes and the white, the eyes and the skin colors, it really does stand out. So it's like a layer. If you're a graphic designer, you kind of understand this, or animator or whatever, you understand this. It's like a layer effect that you see the background, the background of the city behind you, but you got the characters that stand out, and they're always going to be in the forefront because of the color schemes that you pick. Even if you change the color of your costumes, you have the advantage of that. And your characters also, through achieving and unlocking side missions, will have the ability to change costumes as well as colors. Like there's a whole color palette of colors that you can use for the suits that you wear, and you could color your legions as well, which is awesome. So if you go into like the headquarters room or the main room or the training room, there's a little bit of a module in there that you go in and you put your iris module in there where the legions can come out. Pretty much you clean, for some reason you collect and clean all of the chimera crystals that you find in the neighborhoods, and then you go to the headquarters and you clean it off the actual legions. I still don't understand what the point of that is, or whether that does accumulate to certain points or whatever that allows you to upgrade your characters, but it's a fun thing to do. You can actually clean them out, but upon cleaning out the crystals off of the legions, you can also change and customize the colors, so each legion can have a different color scheme. So again, to make your experience a little bit different from other people's gameplay experiences as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. You can also change, like I said, you can use costumes, headgear, mask, all that stuff, just making them totally customizable. But there are so many more different items to unlock in the game for you to do so. So this gives a lot more replay value, and there are tons of hours of gameplay in this game. Whether you hang around the headquarters, doing training, going to upgrade your legions, talking to many of the characters in the game, playing side missions, replay value is in the game. And I believe after beating the game, which I did, it allows you to keep everything all over again. And there's this is total Nintendo tradition. There's always going to be a new game plus type of experience where it allows you to roll over everything that you've gained before and still play through the game. I believe you can also replay the stages all over again if you want to, and upgrade your character continuously from there, making the experience a lot easier as well. And that's something that Platinum Games has done with all their games. I believe I've done that with Transformers. I believe I've done it with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as Legend of Korra as well. So again, overall, this is Platinum Games' most creative and ambitious title to date, in my opinion. If you are a fan of any of the games such as Bayonetta, Transformers, Devastation, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Korra, regardless, any of it, and many more, you will easily enjoy this game. And if you're a Nintendo Switch fan, this is the reason to get this game. This is the reason to get a Nintendo Switch. There's always going to be one game that somebody gets. Last year, when it first came out, it was Zelda Breath of the Wild, then Smash Brothers, then, for Marvel fans, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which was also one of my favorite games this year, again. But Astral Chain, after playing this game, I truly enjoyed my experience with this game. I will be continuing to play it even after the fact. I may even play it over again, with the other file as well. And it's just so many things that you could do even after beating the game. So the story was also great, and it grabbed me with anticipation of figuring out the secrets of the twins and other characters in the game as well. So this game has become absolutely one of my favorites this year. If you haven't gotten a Nintendo Switch yet and want to know what games you need to get, add Astral Chains to your list among other games on the list of saying, this is what I need to get this type of game. So I would say, if you haven't jumped on Astral Chains yet and you do own a Nintendo Switch, trust me when I tell you, you won't be wrong. You won't be disappointed. Absolutely. If I give this great game anything, it's going to be a solid A from here. So, folks, that will do it for this edition of Select Start. Next week on Select Start, it is literally the afternoon right now, which means new games have released. And one of the new games that I will be getting right now that I will be reviewing next week is Way Forward's latest 2D RPG beat 'em up game, River City Girls. What drew me to this game is one, the character design. Two, it's Way Forward. They've done a tremendous amount of games. Remember, Way Forward does Shantae Half Genie Hero, and previously a while back, DuckTales, the remastered version. They became a favorite of mine ever since they did that game. And this is going to be no different. I'm a big fan of their style of games and retro games. River City Girls looks amazing, and it looks really cool and fun. This with the simple storyline of 3 badass teen girls fighting their way to save their boyfriends. Enough said. I'm immediately on this game. Not only that, but I've also, like I said, I downloaded Super Kirby's Clash, and I will be giving my thoughts on that and much more that happens next week too. I'm thinking too, I just talked about, what are the games that what is the reason to get a Nintendo Switch? That could be the topic of next week too. So who knows, depending on what happens. Or one of the things that I talk about next week amongst reviewing River City Girls next week. So stay tuned for that and much, much more, fans. And then this Sunday, we're going to continue with the DBZ controversy and see what's developed with that. People have been in hiding. Funimation has not mentioned anything. They've been keeping it moving. Sean Schimmel has not mentioned anything. Chris Sabat, on the other hand, is weirdly tweeting and retweeting lately. And I'll just say it at that. So we'll be talking about all that and anything else that develops from there, plus any more news going on in the world of anime, comics, movies, and games as well. So folks, stay tuned for all that as well. Thank you for supporting this actual show. As always, you can check us out on TalkTimeLive.com, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean. And thank you for the support. Thank you always for everything. And we will keep it going and keep it growing as always. So folks, that will do it on behalf of myself. This is Dak Xavier Josiah saying, learn to let go, live life, and love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. This is ACMG Presents Talk Time Live. I am out of here. Folks, have a great week, and I will talk to you on Sunday. Music for this episode is provided by Game Chops. Check out these great chiptune tracks and more at music.gamechops.com.